Hi again, everyone. Welcome to another episode of RV Business Capital Talk, sponsored by Eric Sell. I'm Rick Kessler. With me, as always, Sherman Goldenberg, and we're from RV Business. And joining the two of us today is a very familiar face and name in the RV industry, and that, of course, is Scott Tuttle. Scott, thanks for joining us.
Well, thanks for having me, guys. Great to be here.
Scott's latest venture as of summer of 2022 is Soaring Eagle Campers in Wakarusa, Indiana. But Scott, before we talk about Soaring Eagle, how about just a nice little recap of your long and storied career in the RV industry?
Well, you know what? I've been very fortunate to be a part of this industry for going on, I think, 38 years now. It started in the 80s with a Mallard coach
Wow.
and working for Bill Warwick and Don Pletcher there, learned a lot. And then I did a 10-year stint working for the Shays at Gulfstream Coach and Fairmont. Then I was fortunate enough to join a few other young guys, and we started Heartland Recreational Vehicles and had a good run there. After that, I started something interesting with Live and Light recreational vehicles here in Wakarusa, where we did the camp lights and started to pioneer the all aluminum construction in lightweight towables. After those days, I invested in a little company in Napanee called Intech Trailers, where they built racing trailers. But they were really good at what they did, and they used all aluminum, and I encouraged them to get into the RV sector. And over the last 7 years, Intech has really thrived. We had a number of former Live and Light and current Intech dealers that asked me about getting back into truck campers with the all aluminum construction. And after a couple of years of saying no, I asked my partner, Adam Maxwell, if he would mind if I would build some truck campers on my own with a couple of friends. And he said, go for it. So that was kind of the genesis of Soaring Eagle Campers. And I've partnered with Troy Andrews, who was one of my former partners at Live and Light, and then also Scott Bradshaw, who's a good friend of mine. We play a lot of poker together. So
was just doing some reading about your company and your products. You've got a very set formula. There's very little left to chance what you do in developing and manufacturing a truck camper.
Yeah, we saw in the marketplace in general, truck campers were tending to get bigger, heavier, and more expensive. And so there's an opportunity there to build something that was very lightweight, that would fit any truck, not just half tons, but even the smaller truck market like the Tacomas and Gladiators. And we built a very minimalistic camper, which means we didn't put a lot of systems in it. So there's no bathrooms and showers, and there's not very many cooking options, because the customers, the demographic that we're going after, these people are tent campers. They already love camping, and they just want to get up off the ground. And we have a product that's affordable for them, and it's lightweight enough that it's easy for their truck to handle. And we're finding a nice niche in the market there.
Do you think it is, at least in part, an answer to today's market, economically speaking?
I'm going to say yes, and not just because I happen to own the company, but I'm telling you, we're seeing parallels to what the pop-up trailers were in the 70s and the 80s. That's what we're trying to be at Soaring Eagle here in the 2020s. And that is something that is just really affordable. All of our products retail sell for between $15,000 and $23,000. So that's a nice price point for a lot of people. And one of the challenges is the RV dealers, to be honest with you, because they will look at this and go, well, who's going to buy it? Because it doesn't have a shower. And not understanding that 64 million people were tent camping last year. That's a real number. It's put out by North American Camping Association. And it's a real deal. There's a ton of people out there, and they're not interested in big, luxurious RVs. And that's okay. We need people to get started in the RV lifestyle so they'll come back later and buy our bigger units. So we don't mind at all being an entry-level product at Soaring Eagle Campers.
Well, you say entry-level product, but in all honesty, your construction is anything but entry level. It truly isn't.
Yeah, I mean, we don't use wood, so we're using all tubular aluminum to weld everything, the floors, the sidewalls, the roof. And then we're surrounding it with fiberglass insulation that has composite backing, not Luan wood. Our interior wall and ceiling boards are backed with Asdale composite backing, not Luan. So our structure is super sound, and it's not only solid, but it's lightweight. And Customers today, they're looking for value. They don't want an entry-level product that's made with lesser materials if they can get something that's built nicer. And we're providing a really good value proposition for them by building it out of materials that last a long time. And it doesn't hurt that, camp-like truck campers are still out there demanding premium because they're still functioning exactly like they were when we built them over a decade ago.
The dimensions, the weights of your products, very interesting. Tell us about that.
Well, we were able to actually build half-ton truck campers that are capable for half-ton trucks. One of the dirty little secrets out there is that people sell truck campers saying, "Oh yeah, your half-ton can handle that." What they don't tell them is they need to add airbags and all these other suspension assist brackets and such. Our campers weigh from 800 pounds to 1,100 pounds.
Wow.
So they're truly half-ton capable. And I've got some great customer testimonials. They told me they were sold a half-ton truck camper supposedly, and they could only go 60 miles an hour and got terrible gas mileage. They traded it in on a Soaring Eagle, and they love the fact they can go 75 and get much better gas mileage. So of course, when they would send that to me, I say, "Hey, can I use that with other customers?" They, "Yeah, absolutely." We love hearing the stories like that. What's really funny is here we are building this minimalistic camper, again, where a lot of dealers are questioning why there's not much in it. And the customers are asking if we can take stuff out of it. "Hey, can you take those cabinets out? We just don't want any cabinets." I'm like, "Okay, if that's what you want, we'll do it." But it's fun. I really like being in this entry stage product because, I've built and sold some very expensive, heavy, nice RVs over the years, but they really don't have a lot to do with camping, if we're being honest. So getting back to the basics and helping people go camping and just get a little more comfortable, that's a lot of fun.
And they fit in a truck bed, according to my reading.
Yeah. In fact, the Maverick truck is the smallest thing that's ever been out there that's been considered a truck. We've got a model that fits in the back of a Maverick truck. So that's kind of fun.
Yeah, in a lot of cases, pardon me, Rick, in a lot of cases, the owner can shut the tailgate.
Yes, that's the one thing we did. Coming into this from scratch, designing our first truck campers, we looked around and saw, the tailgates today, not only do they have the rear cameras and the sensors in them, but most of them have steps built right in.
Yeah.
Well, most truck campers out there, you have to get rid of the tailgate. So we designed our campers to fit in the bed of the truck where you can close the tailgate. Now you've got built-in steps, you've got the camera, the sensors and everything. And some people like it. It's a little more, peace of mind when they're traveling down the road. So yeah, that's a nice feature. Even on the small model Toyota Tacomas with a 5-foot bed, you can close your tailgate while our fully enclosed truck camper is in the bed.
Scott, at this point, Soaring Eagle is kind of focused in on a couple of different lines, a couple of different brands, the Adler and the OVX. Can you tell us a bit about what's the difference between them?
Yeah. So the Adlers are fully enclosed, boxes that slide into a truck bed and they sit on the truck bed. The OVX product that we build is a truck topper. It literally sits up on top of the bed rails of the truck. And so there's no floor to it. It's very similar to a truck cap, but it has a pop-up top with a soft tent around it. And it has a king-size bed that slides out. It's got storage under the bed, built-in headboard. It's got electrical center built in. But that segment of the market, it started out on the West Coast. A company out there had a lot of success with it, building it, and they sell it factory direct. What we've been able to do at Soaring Eagle is improve on the concept, improve on the lifting mechanism, add more features and benefits to it, and make it available on dealers' lots right now. So customers don't have to wait 6 months or whatever to get one. So yeah, that's been a fun market to get into. Again, you want to talk about dealers that are not sure what to do with it. I had a dealer in Texas that we talked them into taking an OVX with some of the Adlers. They set it on 2 sawhorses and they called me a couple weeks later and they go, "We really don't know what to do with this thing." And just that next week, an older couple walked in. They said, "What is that?" They said, "Well, it opens up somehow." So we had to talk to them on how to open it. And the older couple said, "Well, we like it. Here's our credit card. We'll take it." And they put it on their truck and they've been camping ever since. So that is, it's for the overland market. So these are, outdoorsmen, hunters, fishermen, guys that are pulling boats, and they just want a more comfortable night's sleep than in the bed of their truck. So it's been a fun product. Very, very entry level.
You mentioned dealers. This has been, it looks like, since day one, really directed at a dealer body.
Absolutely. Absolutely. This is a product that we see as a bridge type product. It allows dealers to diversify their demographic reach. So now they're bringing in those people that are tent camping and getting them to experience an RV dealership and the RVing lifestyle. And you know the way the cycle works. They will come back in a couple of years and buy maybe a travel trailer or a fifth wheel. So yeah, our model is definitely dealers. We do not sell factory direct or anything like that. And there's purpose behind it.
Portable toilets.
Yeah, yeah. We have some portable toilets, and our customers understand that. They're using campgrounds, they're using national park facilities. They didn't come to me and say, wow, I'd buy it if you had a shower. No, they buy it, they don't care that it doesn't have a shower. Now, I will say later on this year, because we're getting a lot of customers that are loving what we have, and we're starting to attract people from the regular truck camper market, and they love our construction, they're asking us, hey, are you ever going to build a big one? So we're working on one for those guys down the road, and maybe some of the more traditional truck camper market, because again, that market has really gotten bigger, heavier, more expensive. So we're going to be able to come out with a model that has full amenities, shower, bathroom, and everything, but it's going to be lighter weight than almost everything out there. And hopefully we'll hit a price point that makes everybody think twice about how much they have to pay for a nice unit.
So Scott, if you don't mind, sure. We were talking earlier before we hit the record button, but you made your debut really at Open House a couple of years ago, 2022.
Yep.
Take us back to that time. I mean, yes, obviously you've had some startups before that have been very successful, but how's it been since that debut?
Well, it was, it was exciting because it's always exciting to build something new and have dealers come in and give you their feedback. So we were at Open House in the fall of 22 and signed up about 20 dealers that week, which was fun, a little bit more than what we expected. And then we started working in the last quarter of the year of getting production set up and building units. And we really debuted in the public's eyes in January of 23. So last calendar year was our first year of really being out there on dealers' lots at shows and, just being completely transparent. It's taken about a year for us to really get some momentum in terms of national exposure. But when the calendar turned 24, it's like, wow, something happened. And now we're getting, all the leads have turned from inquisitive to where can I find one? I love it. And so that's been exciting. So now, some of our dealers that took their first loads last summer and were, trying to figure out what to do with them. Now, all of a sudden they're selling them out and ordering another load. So it's kind of fun. And we're getting dealers actually that are calling us and saying, hey, we've done some research and we really like your product. We don't have anything in that entry-level price point for truck camper people. And, would you be interested in having us on our lot? I'm like, yeah. I mean, we're up to about, I'd say, almost 40 dealer locations now, which is nice. But with a product that, again, it sells for $15,000 to $23,000 retail, there's definitely opportunities to be in more states. We've got, large paths of the country where we don't have anybody, and that's always a problem. So
You're out of Wakarusa area?
Yep, Wakarusa, Indiana, my hometown.
And then we can't probably part company without at least touching on the economy and what that's meant for you. What has that meant for you?
Well, it's been a challenge for sure, because while we have something that's somewhat recession proof, because you got your high-end buses are always going to sell no matter what the economy's doing, and you got your entry-level stuff that's always going to sell no matter what the economy's doing. The challenge has been a lot of the dealers are making that transition from being X amount of inventory down to about half of that or 3/4 of that. So we're getting caught up in that a little bit. I've actually had dealers that sold everything we sent them and didn't reorder yet because they're trying to get their inventory down overall. So that's been a challenge for a little company like ours. But right now we've seen, especially February, March, April, dealers are starting to move a lot more inventory and they're starting to replenish some things. And again, since they were sold out of ours, they're a little more apt to reorder Soaring Eagle. So that's cool. But it's been tough. I mean, the end of last year was really challenging for sure.
Rick,
But we're
what
seeing,
about, where you want to go before we sign off here?
well, that's, Scott, quite frankly, you're one of the very few people who have had, relatively good things to say about the current market conditions. Yes, the long term is always going to be good because of the lifestyle, but most people have been not nearly as optimistic, I would say.
Well, I answer all the emails. And so I'm not just kind of in touch with the people that are reaching out to us. I am in touch with them. So I love the vibe that we're getting. I love the fact that people are not hesitant to purchase. We seem to be in the right price point, in the right weight category, that there's not a whole lot of games in town. If you own a Toyota Tacoma, there's little tents that go on top of your truck cab, but there's not a lot of campers that fit in the back. And so that little Adler 5.0 has been one of our top sellers right now for sure. But yeah, we're seeing things move out there on dealers' lots. And it's not just, it's industry wide. We're starting to see people move things. And it's not just because they're blowing them out to get rid of inventory. It's almost like they're accepting the fact that the interest rates are a little higher now. We're just
Right.
going to deal with it. We're not going to wait anymore. We've got the money. Let's go buy that camper we always wanted. So
Yeah, good point.
All
Yeah.
right. Rick, you
Well-
ready to sign off here?
I think so. It's the 18 holes are calling, aren't they?
it's a beautiful day. Get out there and play some golf, guys.
Scott, can't thank you enough. Always good to talk with you. Good to catch up. And I'm sure we'll see you soon.
All right. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you, man. Nice seeing you.
Yep. See ya.